Hello, folks. Just getting set up here. Let's see. Okay. Nice. All right, well, I'm just going to do some initial setup here. Okay. Recording started. Good. So here's the deal. What? Here, I should bring my microphone closer to me like this. I've got a bat signal. The bat signal turns on. Okay, so when I go on stream, I want to turn this thing on. Here's the problem. It's quite busted. I don't know if you can really see that very well here, but it's pretty busted. Right, just snapped right off. Heavenly 302, and I'm good. How are you doing? So, what I want to do is I want to take my 3D pen, move this over here, hopefully not break it any further. Okay. Good, nice to have you on chat. I appreciate it. Not really expecting a big turnout. I just kind of did an impromptu stream, but nice to have you here. Okay. I need a second to plug this thing in. Sorry, hang on 1 second. Okay. Now we're talking. So we're going to plug this guy in just like that. Then you're going to see it's turning on. The camera might not pick it up too proper, but all right. Okay, noted to the tutorial. And I'm choosing PLA, and that is going to heat up. Then we need the right end. Oh, we already have the right end. Okay, now I can already smell it. It's getting quite heated. What you might witness is very unprofessional 3D printing. I'm going to cut the end off here. I might not have the right tool for this. Hang on. Bring out my toolbox. There you go. This'll do. Okay, nice clean cut. All right. Now, what does the tell me here? Tells me it's ready. Okay, that looks correct. I'm gonna feed on the back here. I'm gonna feed the PLA. See how this goes. Well, nothing's coming out. Oh, there we go. Still on it? Okay, we got something out. question is going to be, how am I going to prop up the bat signal? I mean, essentially it's got to go like this. And I need a way to prop it up. Okay, let me think for a second here. If I can get it started. So I've got an idea. I've already got a 3D printed square. I'm gonna use, okay, that's pretty hot. Oops. But I'm gonna have to clean the end off here. Put this down nice. Clean off here. I'll burn myself at the same time. So I'm basically just going to try and get it started. I don't have to be perfect. close. Okay. That's ugly, but it works. I'm okay with ugly because it works. It's pretty solid too. Oh no, I didn't let it dry. Oh wait, no, maybe it's. I'll add some more. Okay. I've got to let that dry. But I'm pretty sure for the time being, it's working. So I could do like a time-lapse video on that. And you know, it might be a fun thing for like a YouTube time-lapse video or something. Now I'm gonna sculpt it. I think I should sculpt it. first, let me do a little bit of cleanup here. One sec. Okay. Now, if I test it, hopefully this means yep. Okay, so I haven't like broken the wiring or anything. It's still turning on. That's a good sign. I'm going to take this guy off. Now, I'm just going to use the sculpting tool here and just basically get rid of the extra junk. Okay, there we have it. That was not so bad. Now the other thing I want to do is I want to replace the batteries. Hang on while I sort this out. Hang on. Hang on. Something's going on here. One second. Okay. I am back. There we go. Nice and strong. What am I doing? Okay, there we go. I will be right back. Okay, with that, I can now switch to my regularly scheduled Okay, let's see. Okay, now we're talking. All right, now, now the question becomes what to do next. So I'm gonna update my titles. Okay, title's updated. There we go. Mango, hey man, how's it going? Yeah, I just saw your message. So yeah, it's free till level 20, that's right. Here's what I'm gonna do. I don't know why the invite didn't go through, but I'm gonna look at the invitation afterwards and see. But if you're just gonna, you know, start with your own ID account that you've already started with, like you have before, then you can always do friends, like friend association later. So yeah, try the free trial out first. And then if you like it and you're finding, like, you know, it's working well on your stream and you want to do more of it, then just let me know, and I'll happily, you know, help you out. Ayalisa is a very, very, let's say, veteran player of World of Warcraft. So if you need help or you need advice or whatever with any of that, Ayalisa is a good person to talk to, and I know you're Discorded to each other. So everybody's going on doing the classic. Here's the thing. I believe that when you do the full version, you get classic for free. So you pretty much can't go wrong if you do the full version, which has like a bunch of DLCs and stuff. Classic is basically like, from what I understand, it's like a snapshot in time of the game back when the game was arguably considered like at its peak. And classic is really picking up, like in a bunch of my circles, even just a bunch of programmers who are like, man, classic is amazing. So if it were me, I would do classic. You're probably going to get like a good range of like fun playtime stuff there. Plus you get to go back in time and get some of the storyline that helps you understand more of the new stuff. But like I said, if you get the full game, I believe the classic comes with it for free. Yeah, exactly. And then you can do classic. You can start off with classic, and then you can go up to, you can scale up to the, you know, to the full version, basically. It's a different game from what you're used to doing. I know. You know, it's different for sure. So you're, you know, but it's fun. I mean, everybody's playing it right now and having fun. So I think you're going to be all right. And like I said, you've got Ayalisa, you know, veteran player. Sorry, I'm just readjusting my cam, and you can ask questions and whatnot. And yeah, I mean, everybody's enjoying it, so you know, I don't see why you wouldn't have fun with it either. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna be keeping an eye out on your streams for it. I know Ayalisa will be too, and to some degree, you know, if you ever want Ayalisa to help you out, she'll jump on game. You know, when you guys are friended, she'll jump on game. You know, you can do it on stream. You can do like a little adventure or something on stream. You know, that kind of stuff. So, yeah, it's raids. You're gonna love like doing the raids then. I don't know. Yeah, you might really get a kick out of it. So yeah. Yeah, so here's the thing. For like I haven't really played it that much. Like I said, Ayalisa he's the veteran player. But what I do know is that when you're doing a raid, like you're gonna raid a dungeon, for example, you do need to plan out your team and how you're going to attack the dungeon. And part of the reason why you need to plan it out is the bosses have specific patterns, the mobs have specific patterns, and the dungeon itself has specific patterns. So for you to navigate with your team, you all have to do your part. So it is not uncommon for teams to watch like entire YouTube video playthroughs of dungeons they're about to raid, with each character or class in a team watching a video specific to their character, to their class, so that they can like mesh together and work out how they're going to do it. And that's just at like the lower level raids. Like you can do dungeons at different levels, I think. So once you get to mythic or heroic, it's like it gets absolutely insane. So yeah, so you gotta have like a good group of friends. So Ayalisa's a good one. You want to, you know, make sure you're friends with her. I'll make sure that the invite gets sent out to you proper. And find people who you play with, you know, through the game or maybe through your own community, Mango, like, you know, on your stream. And find people that you like, you know, work well with, right? It's a team effort to some degree. But then there's a bunch of stuff outside the raids that you can do just by yourself, just for the heck of it, you know, just for getting some content on stream and whatnot. Anyway, I blabbed for a while, but hopefully that helps you out, Mango. Much love, Mango. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. I know you're busy. You've got your cute kids and, you know, your family, and you stream a lot lately. So just thanks for showing up. Yeah, thanks, Mango. You too, man. Enjoy the rest of your day. Have fun. I'm gonna get into it. I'm gonna get some content out here. So, all right. So I guess if I set a marker, my marker is gonna be some Zig WASM video game stuff is what I'm going to build. I'm going to take a minute to build some of my video game. Now, what I have running in the background, in case you don't know, there's a streamer you might have heard of, maybe. I would be shocked if you haven't heard of this streamer. Mango's a good one. If you're not following Mango, you should follow Mango. But there's also Pirate Software, and Pirate Software is basically, it's a guy named Thor. He made a game called Heartbound, and as part of the game, actually, speaking of, Thor actually worked at Blizzard during probably the classic days, actually, now that I think about it. So he made a game called Heartbound, and what he did was he allows people who have purchased the game and the soundtrack to use it for free. No license required. So, since I'm building a video game, and he's a big reason why I'm building a video game on stream, he inspired me to do that. I'm just using his soundtrack because it's an amazing soundtrack, honestly. It's a great soundtrack. Did a great job. And it just kind of gives like a nice background vibe while I'm building out this game. So you can see, I have it running here. If you have not purchased Heartbound, go purchase Heartbound. It's a great game, and the guy who made it is really cool. And if you're not sure who he is, just look at Pirate Software on Twitch. Worth a look. And the game is cool, and the soundtrack's cool, and yeah, everything about it is cool. And you can see this soundtrack's it's legit. He's got music in here. He's got 100 tracks. 100 tracks. That's pretty cool. Yeah. Okay. So, my game, right? My game. What are we gonna do about my game? So here's the deal. First of all, I need to see if I even have it mounted. I still do. Sweet. Okay. And yeah, all right. So here's what I need to do. First of all, let's run a PHP local server, and yeah, everything's running great. Awesome. All right. So we've got everything running exactly as we left it last time. If you don't remember from last time, we tackled a few things, mostly clean up items. So we cleaned up some of our Zig code. So let me go in here. And let's see. Let's do test. Here, test Zig. Yeah. So we got rid of a bunch of code that we were not using anymore. That went really well. We tackled replacing code that we wanted to make just a little bit more efficient. We added some error handling. I did some of that off stream, so you didn't have to watch it on stream. That went pretty well, I would say. So there's a few things that I think I want to try and tackle. Even if I just tackle one thing on stream now today, I would be quite happy with. In particular, something that stands out to me as quite ugly, okay, is this attack entity function. I'm gonna have a little sip of my wine, okay? Just drinking a little bit of wine today. Oh, that's good. Okay. So this attack entity function is it's gross. It's just gross, okay? I don't really like how, I don't know, I don't like how this has come together. I feel like there's a better way to handle this function. So I'm gonna try my best to clean this up. I don't know how this is gonna go exactly, but essentially I think if I just talk it out for a minute, then maybe I can sort out what needs to happen. All right. So what we have is we have an attacker and an attackee. The attacker okay, so this is, yeah, now I remember what we're doing here. The attacker needs to only be able to attack entities that are right next to it. So if you look here, here we have our player, which is the ship. Now, the only way that we as the player can attack this red square, which is really just another entity, is if we're right next to the red square. That means here, to the right of it, and beneath it. If the red square was one space over and one space down, then we'll actually, let's actually do it. I wonder if it's, I think it's 1. And then, right, maybe? Yeah. There we go. All right. So these are all the valid locations that where you can attack an entity. So here, right, above it, to its right, beneath it, to its left. Now we could do diagonal attacks. And when I get fancier with the animations, with the hitboxes, with the movements, with the coordinates, with all that stuff, then sure, I'll do diagonal. As a matter of fact, what will probably happen is you'll see an animation, maybe imagine like a sword comes out to the right of the ship, and then it swings down and across and to the bottom, and that can be like an attack, right? Just as an imaginary thing. So I need to sort out how I'm going to get the proper, what would you call these? The proper coordinates, the proper positions where an attacker can make an attack against another entity. Okay, so 1 sec. Okay, now, if I'm going to do that, then what that means is this function here, this is like a quite verbose way. It works. The idea here is that there are only a certain number of valid positions an attacker and an attackee can be relative to each other, where the attack can be successful. Load the cannons with the mangoes. Yeah, right. I mean, honestly, Mango, you and I are going to talk. Okay, when this thing gets to a certain point, and there's actually some playability behind it, I'm going to add some light. I'll pay somebody to help me do some light artwork so that it feels like something, even if it's not perfect. And then I'll start adding some Easter eggs to begin with. You and I are going to have some Easter eggs, Mango. We're going to have a chat. We're going to put in some Easter eggs. Yeah. So that could be one. Maybe we put mangoes in the cannons. I mean, I would be down for that. Easter egg time. Yeah. I mean, it'd be kind of fun to do something like that for your viewers, right, Mango? Or for other people who might want to throw in some Easter eggs. What's going to end up being nice about the game, if I do this right, is that modding it will be quite easy. Modding will be like a pretty simple experience. And if I nail the modding experience, that does mean that adding Easter eggs from a variety of different, let's say, spaces, influencers, stuff that you and I might want to add behind the scenes, it'll be easy. So yeah, make Ryan an NPC somewhere lost in the game doing kickflips. Should do it. Yeah. You see that? What's nice is that I'm gonna actually use the real world map. Like with the game that I'm basing this off of, Uncharted Waters, it's based on, a real world, right? So if you look at the, let's see if I can find like a map. Yeah, like this is the map for the game. Let's go large, like this. This is literally the map for that Super Nintendo game, which is crazy to think that they did this in the Super Nintendo days, but it is literally the whole world with a bunch of different countries and ports and stuff back in like the 16th or 15th century. Now, Ryan has told me he lives in New Brunswick. I mean, we could totally add, a New Brunswick port here just for the heck of it. Put Ryan in there, and he's just doing kickflips. So you just show up at the port, and it's just Ryan by himself doing kickflips. So, yeah, I'm down to do that. But yeah, this is crazy for Super Nintendo, right? You literally traveled the entire world. The whole world was here. Obviously, it's condensed, but you had everything here as it was back at that time, and you could hop off and do like mini hop off. You still were basically on your ship, but you could go into any port or little town or whatever and explore. So like if you came down to like Alexandria here, you could go and like find the pyramids, and then you could go sell the fact that you found the pyramids for money. Like you gain fame that way. Or you go to like a little village and you do some exploring and you find like a crocodile, and then you record like, hey, we found a crocodile, and you have like a little diary, and then you go sell that for money. And just depending on where you are, it not only do you have the world map here, but you also have different ports selling local goods. So there was like an actual market. So you would literally go to like Istanbul or Athens or, Marseille or wherever, and you'd buy local goods that were only sold in that area. And the farther away you traveled to sell those goods, like if you went all the way to Nagasaki, the more expensive you could sell those goods for, because they're not local to that area. It had that in the Super Nintendo game. And then there was a market of like investment. So if you invested in a port, then you would get better prices at the port's shipyard if you wanted to like buy a ship. Each area also has their own specialized types of ships. So it was crazy. This game was insane. I feel like it's a highly underrated game. If you were to play it today, it would feel outdated, obviously. And that's kind of why I'm doing that's a big reason why I'm rebuilding it. I'm trying to accomplish a few things. Bring some eyeballs to this really cool game, my favorite that I love to play, and rebuild it in some crazy tech that a lot of people would say I'm crazy for trying to even do. But like already, I've got stuff moving on a screen. Like there's already a whole bunch of stuff here. With this crazy tech, this is going to be kind of fun. We're going to do some Easter eggs, Mango. Yeah. So like to that end, this is the thing, is I'm trying to figure out how to clean up this function, because this looks really ugly. And I think that there is a better way to do it. And it's pretty much condensing this code so that there's less repeated checks here. So for example, the number 1 here and the number 2 here are representative of X and Y. 1 is X, 2 is Y. So really what I'm saying is, if the attackee's X position in the world is just -1 of the attacker's X position, so that would mean that they are the attackee is to the left of the attacker, so it'd be this. like this, right? And then their y coordinates are the same. So they're both 2 down. 1, 2, 1, 2, right? Then this is a valid attack vector. And I repeat this quite a bit, right? So we have where the attackee's y and the attacker's y is 2. I mean, you know, that this could be simplified. This is just a little bit too verbose. So I'm going to clean this up. And then what I also want to do is have an error. So I want to spit out an error when like it's not a valid position, which means I want to add an error to this enum structure. This enum structure just identifies a consistent set of values to numbers, so that when I see a number, I know what it means, right? So I want to just spit out an error, and then I need to add it to the diff list if there's a successful attack. The reason why I want to add the a successful attack to the diff list, so that if an entity is attacked and there's a particular thing that I want to happen, what I can do is I can look at this diff list, in other words, this difference list, and say from the last time that you checked the difference list to now, here are all the entities that have been altered in some way. Say they lost health or they moved, you know, things like that. So that on the front end here, where I'm actually rendering the game, all I have to do is check my difference list and then implement a set of changes that's specific, instead of re-implementing the whole world fresh in order to get the latest information, right? So it's a more, I guess, efficient way of rendering your game in its current state. So to that end, I think what I'm going to try and do is just kind of imperfectly make this a little better if I can. I'll start with an imperfect kind of idea I have in my head. So if I'm going to get rid of the duplicates, what I can start with is if the attackee entity index 2 is equal to current entity's attacker entity index 2. Okay, so this is going to be one, this is going to be one, like, you know, starting point valid position. And then the other one I could do is 1. So it would be current entities attackee index 1. And then here one. All right. And I typoed this. Okay. So if it's 1, then we know that they are in the same x coordinate. That's a good start. Now, the only thing that we need to do is do an OR check. So at this point, all we have to do is go if current entities attackee entity index 2 is equal to wow, I can't spell all of a sudden. 2. Come on, 2 minus 1, right? And then you would go like OR. Misspelled this as well. Here we go. Okay, attacker entity index 2 plus 1. Okay, this is ugly and imperfect, but it's a starting point of like cleanup. Already we can see that there's like a little bit of an improvement where we have a little bit less duplicate code, and then you would, you know, essentially you would copy this. Okay. Now I can already see that the attack code. So when you have a valid position, the code that does the attack is really the same. 0 identifies the health, that it references the health of the entity. If the health of the entity is greater than 0, then you subtract 1 hit point from it. That's going to be the same no matter which valid position actually works. So in that case, all I really actually need to do is store a variable called like valid position, and I can set it to false to begin with. And then what I can do is set valid position to true when we're good, when there is a valid position. And then I can just move this down here, nope, here like this. Yeah, okay. So once we have a valid position, then we do an attack, right? So we would go like if valid position and the attackee entity's health is greater than 0. Now there's also a lot of like verbose variable naming. So I think what it might be good is to put the attacker and the entity into their own variables, so that it's just a little bit easier to read. So you could go attacker equals current entities attacker entity index, and then the attackee I also don't like the word attackee. Sounds a little weird. Sounds like tacky, like you know, tacky. Something's tacky if it's like, I don't know, it looks cheap or something, or looks poorly made. I don't know, but okay. So now what we can do is also simplify this. Attacker attackee. Okay, so attacker attackee, and then oh man, I'm so glad I did this too, because I didn't put in the closing brackets, which would have failed. And since we're simplifying the way this looks so much, we have lots of space here. Okay, so you can see that already looks a lot better. A lot better. So I can get rid of this, and basically I can copy it and just flip flip the what I'm looking for. So at first I was looking for the x coordinates, now I'm looking for y. If the attacker and the attackee are both in the same y coordinate, then what you want to do is check their x coordinate and make sure that they're within 1 of each other. And if the position is true, then we remove a hit point. And then that's it. Look at that. So, you know, not like the greatest, but it already looks better. That's greatly simplified. The other thing I might be able to do is... nah, it's okay. We'll leave it like this. We'll leave it like this. So then the other thing is I can just add like an error output, invalid. Let's just call it invalid position. Actually, you know what? Let's call it invalid attack position. Okay. and then for errors, $16, yeah. So this used to be void, which means we're not returning anything, but now we actually are going to return something. So U16 if valid position, so if we did end up having a valid position, then we're going to return actually we should return a success value. If not, then we return invalid attack position. Okay. Also, if valid position we want to add to the diff list, but you know what? We don't actually want to add to the diff list just because we have a valid position. We want to add to the diff list when we have a valid position and we knocked off 1 HP because the attackee's health was above 0. So we need to only add an entity to the diff list when we've reached this specific circumstance. We have a valid position and they had health greater than 0. If they didn't have health greater than 0, then nothing happened to them, right? So there's nothing for us to keep track of in order to maintain anything. So, you know, why track it? If I'm going to do a diff list, then I should do this is an I-32, but I think what I want to do is maybe just U8. No, you should be okay. We have a chain of issues here. I essentially just want to pass in the attackee entity index, which I have up here. I'm setting it as a U8. Now U8 is limited to 256 numbers. Like it goes up to 256. The number of entities that are actually available for me to reference could be much higher though. I want to use a U16. In order to do that, I have to update the diff list first of all so that it's U16, but then I also have to look at what current entities are. Like what is current entities set to? Current entities is set to U16. But it's just a reference to... I see. I see. So current entities is set to store U16s as references. It's just a matter of how you're referencing this array. It's kind of like an awkward thing. What I am hoping I can just do is entity index is U8. Yeah, I don't think that's gonna cut it. So I guess for now, let's tackle one thing at a time. All right, so I've got a chain of I've got a chain of possible issues here, which might suck, but let's just go. We're going to put the attackee index in the diff list. Now our diff list is going to need to change. Oh, I see. I actually already solved this, didn't I? Haha, I already solved it. But this is going to be weird. Do I need to cast this as an I-32 each and every time? I would rather not. Honestly. I would honestly rather just do U8. I would rather remain consistent than have these weird casts from one number format to another number format. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to copy this guy. Just a sec. Just a sec. All right. So I'm going to copy this guy. And then I'm going to put it here. And I will have a look at, I think, okay. So you know what? I think I already did this correctly. Okay. Then I'm going to change this to U8. I will also change this to a U8. Let's see what else we got. This can be a U8. An item, yeah, that's fine. Anything else here? So we can just go entity index. Oh. Yep. Okay. Okay. So if we've done this right, then diff list will remain a U8, and that's fine. Let's see what else we got. So we can remove this to do because our attack entity function is fine. Now a success, I think what we could do is just consider none as a success. Okay, so we've got an initial structure where I don't know if this is actually going to compile, but we're about to find out. And in order to get this to compile, we are then going to okay, so I see we're using U16 in our game data error. Oh, I see, it can't convert our value. I see. So we have to do what we already did up here. We have to copy it. As a matter of fact, I wonder if we do have to copy it. I wonder if we can just do int from. Let's see. Holy cow. That worked. Did I get that the first? That doesn't seem right. Get current world size. what's going on. Alright, let's see what this error is all about, because this is a little weird. Okay. If I run it. Really? I think this is like a race condition where I'm trying to call on a function before it's actually ready to be called. Yeah, see, the module isn't loaded. And I'm trying to call it already. So this is definitely a race condition. So how would I fix that? I know I have a loader. This guy. And essentially what I do is I initialize, like I have an array of required things that I need to load. And when I've detected that they're all loaded, then I go ahead and start the game. And the error is happening right here. Aha. This is exactly it. It's because my resize observer is being called. Probably, yeah, it's being called too early. So I think I can just fix this. I'm pretty sure if I just check to make sure that DOM actually exists, that error goes away. Nope. Never mind. Can I read properties of null? Reading get current world size. Oh, it's not the DOM. It's my bad. It's the game. There we go. Okay. So even though this is not ideal, I already have a to-do to clean it up. You know, doesn't work the best. Well, what I mean by that is I'm using it ineffectively. Like it's ugly. So even though this is ugly, it does work. It does work. So now we don't have any errors. We still have this. So now what I should be able to do is bind a key that does a player to entity, like to artificial, like NPC attack. So exactly the function that we just created that handles whether an attack happens or not. I would like to just, you know, be able to push a button, maybe space. So if we're going to do that, then we should go to our input.js file. And this is, I think I just need to check for, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to spit out the key. That will help me figure out okay. Interesting. If I use space evt.key in JavaScript, oh, because it's literally a space. So I should use code. Okay. else if evt.code space. And what I'm going to do is I want to attack entity 0 being the player against entity 1 being the artificial NPC. So now what should happen? If I do this, attack entity is not a function. Is it because I don't have a wrapper? Bet you it's because I don't have a wrapper. So game, attack entity. Do I have a wrapper? I do not have a wrapper. Let's wrap it. Attack E, entity index. So like in the future, console log output the attacker and entity. Game attack entity. Okay, refresh. Yeah. Now if I do okay. Let's console log it too. If we console log it, then what should happen is we should get the response. 5, 0, 0. Okay. There we go. Okay. So that's working. 5 is telling us that it's an invalid attack position, which is exactly what I would expect to see if I'm kitty corner, you know, or really far away. Yeah. Whereas being right next to it, I expect to see a 0 in return, which means that the health of the entity is, yeah. Now, the other thing that I'm wondering about, could I return a no more health? Like, just out of curiosity. Okay. Okay, I haven't thought this through. I was just hoping to return like a value if the entity that I'm attacking doesn't have any more health, but if I do that, I have to kind of do it up here as like kind of like an invalid case, right? So yeah, I can't check the health at this point because by then we've already made the attack and completed it. So we will get a false positive. We need to check the health at the beginning. So I guess it would be, we'll set it to, so we'll set had health to false. If the attackee, the thing we're attacking, has health, then had health is true. And then we'll go if and had health. Right? Then we're good. Else if not had health. No more health. Okay. And then it's just an invalid position. Okay, good enough. I don't really like how this is, but it's a start. It's a start. Hey, Cry. Nice to see you, man. I hope you're doing well, buddy. It's good to see you on here. Yeah, working hard. Making some pretty good progress today, I would say, with the game. So I'm quite happy with it. Okay, so if I attack, I don't think that did it. Oh, of course, I have to compile it. I am silly. There we go. That means there's no more health. Perfect. Okay, sweet. Cry. Did you check out that Riot Games article on TechDebt? I think. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I did. I am planning on doing a review on it, a proper review. I'm thinking about it. I'm trying to figure out like some of the things that I want to talk about. I'm trying to think about it a bit. So for the time being, it's in my to-do list, and I've read it over probably a few times already. Because what I'm trying to do is take some of the stuff in this article and like translate it to something a touch more generic, something that you can kind of understand beyond just games. And in order to do that, I have to come up with some examples in my head that are not based on games, but are based on real world things I've done to exemplify what this article is talking about. And it also is a good way for me to flesh out whether I have like any opposing viewpoints. So yeah, it's on my to-do list very quickly. Probably one of the first things I do in the new year. So yeah, thank you, Cry. It's a good one. Okay. Now, here's the cool thing. Now that I have okay, so I have a diff list. I know that this is working, and what I can do even is like return oops. Yeah. Return. Oh no. Oh no, it's Shreyas. It's Shreyas. I can see the message. Listen, buddy old pal. Okay? I know that you're here to do nothing but troll. Nothing but troll. Okay? You're not going to be able to troll me. It's just not going to happen. Okay, Shreyas? Okay, it's just not going to happen. Because I'm on high alert now. You should have dropped your first message. Should have been a troll. You gave yourself up too quickly. What can I say? What can I say? You gave it all up too quickly, and now I can't be trolled. So it's good to see you, man. I know we run kind of like through the same circles, if you will, on Twitter, and we like each other's stuff a lot. I don't even remember. I think we might be in a few of the same Discords, maybe one or two. I don't even know anymore. But like, you immediately stand out. You're notorious in my books. and I think mostly because you like a lot of my stuff and I like a lot of your stuff, and you know, maybe there's some crossover there. We're besties of some kind. But it's good to see you. I appreciate you watching. I think you're my sole viewer on Twitter. The one viewer I have on Twitter. And then I have like one viewer, maybe two on Twitch, and that's it. So I appreciate it, man. How you doing? Thanks, IG. Yeah. Yeah. No, it's good to see you. I mean, hopefully I'm doing something that's like worth it for you to stick around for a few minutes. But you know, I'm just building out this video game here, and yeah, I mean, hopefully it's interesting enough. But if not, I don't blame you. I appreciate you just even checking in. Yeah, besties. Yep. What was I looking at? Shreyas threw me off. Oh, right. I was looking at my diff list. Yeah. Okay. That's right. Okay, so my difference list is good. It's good. It's looking good. Oh, God, the lag is insane. Yeah. And I have it set up. Yeah, I'm sorry. I have it set up with Restream, and Restream is supposed to like take care of some of that lag for you, but I find that on some days it actually adds the lag, because what it tries to do is when you multi-stream, it creates a lag to keep everything running at the same level. So on YouTube, on Twitter, and on Twitch, sometimes Restream will create a lag artificially. So I think today is one of those days, because I'm noticing it as well on my end. I'm sorry. I'm truly sorry. It's all my fault, isn't it? It's all my fault. Okay. I don't know if that's going to help the lag at all. No, probably not. Yeah, there's not much I can do, unfortunately. It sucks. I mean, my resolution is not that high. Anyway, what can I do? Try my best. Today's just a bad day for it. Okay, so if I keep going, now that I know that the diff list thing works, I can also do... Okay, first of all, you can go away. We've all... And there's Shreyas. Hey, on Twitch now. Yeah, I don't know if you caught anything I said about the lag, but I apologize. Restream adds lag when I multi-stream. Sometimes, not all the time. Sometimes it's like right there, you know, but just today in particular, something about it. Yeah. It's good to see you, Shreyas. Sorry for the lag. I know it's not perfect. How are you doing, Shreyas? What's going on? What's new with you? I'm just gonna talk a little bit about what I'm doing here, because I gotta talk it out, but you tell me how you're doing, what you're up to. Okay, let's see. Okay, I've got that. Got my difference list all sorted out. I'm not clearing it, but that's okay. I think what I want to do now is I want to display the health of my entity. Now the question is, where do I display it? I could display it up in the menu. I could display it as a number in the element. How would that even work? I have not thought this through. Can I just... Oh, come on. Can I just do something like, I don't know, 10? Oh, I can. I wonder, what does it look like over top of... I guess because these are just background. I forgot that I set them as like background colors, background images. Yeah. Okay. And then if I went like... Oh, that's beautiful. Okay, that'll do. That'll do. So all I really have to do is put in color white as my thing. And then every time I re-render my entities, I just have to write their current health. Right? That should be it. That should be all I have to do. So where would I do this here? Not in the view. I would just do it in the... Oh, this is weird. I'm going to have to clear this up anyways. Increase the font weight? You think so? Think I should increase the font weight? I have totally forgot. I have completely forgotten the CSS. Shreyas comes and I completely forget all my CSS. What is it? Font weight. Thank you. Sheesh. I think you literally were telling me. So yeah, font weight bold. Let me see if it makes... Okay. Yeah, so there's like, helps a little bit. Here, I'll put that in there. I'll put it in the CSS. Okay. And then I will go over to my element, render world, and in my element, what I can do is go like, no, come on, element entity dot inner HTML, and we'll just go like entity dot health. Oh, look at that. Okay, and then if I, oh yeah, nice. I mean, it's not fancy, you know, but it demonstrates like it works, right? It's just super simple. Oh, apparently. Yeah, okay. That's really cool. That's working. And then what I should be able to test also is that like this won't work. Yeah, if I attack diagonally, it will not work right now, which is great. My blocker still works. I can't escape the world boundary. I mean, it's yeah, it's working. Is it on GitHub? It is not on GitHub. And I think it's going to be to the point soon where I should put it on GitHub. I'm pretty sure I'm going to have to put it on GitHub soon. I don't really know why I would necessarily do that. I mean, like, no one really cares. It's just me. But I think maybe next stream, I think I might, maybe even this stream, I don't know, I might put it on GitHub. I don't have a compelling need to do it right this second. No one else is going to contribute to it or anything. I guess if people want to run it locally, I suppose, that maybe, but nobody really looks at this yet. So it's, I don't know. But hey, yeah, do it. Well, I mean, when you say it that way, why, you know, it makes total sense, right? Yeah, what's the reason? Oh, you'll contribute? Oh no. Okay, I'm not quite ready for that. I'm close. I'm really close. All I really want to do, I have all the building blocks. All I really want to do is clean up some more code in here. There's not much left. And I mostly want to clean up this this JavaScript in here because it's just a little bit, it's not great. And then when I feel better about it, and I guess maybe some of the CSS, I would actually like rip it out and put it in its own CSS file. Once I do a little bit of cleanup, then I'll feel like, okay, it belongs in a GitHub repo. And then you can contribute and troll on all the platforms I'm on. You're basically the only thing that's left. I think the only safe space I have is YouTube, but there's nobody watching on YouTube ever. So it's not even like, you know, who else are you going to troll over there? No one. You think it's fine? I don't know. I don't know. Like I don't know if I want to, you know? I don't know. What would I call it? UWNH, like remake, I guess. Sure, it can be public. Sure, we'll add a README. I don't know if I want to do this, Shreyas, okay? Alright, I don't know. Maybe. Maybe I do. MIT. I'll go with MIT. I think MIT is the one that gives it away for free for everyone, right? Because, like, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure. This is kind of a weird mix of stuff in this project, so I'm gonna, I guess, just make my own, I don't know, JavaScript, Node. It's not really Node either. MIT's free, yeah, that's what I thought. It's been a while since I made a new repo. I'll just go C because I know, like, Zig. I wonder, do they have Zig? No, just go C because it's the closest thing to Zig. Okay, and then I always forget the commands here. I think it's git init and then what is it? Git set origin URL. Always git remote set URL origin. That's what it is. I don't know if I have my SSH set up here. Git remote set. Yeah. Git remote. I am not doing this right, am I? Git remote add origin. It's only if you have. There we go. All right. Yeah, thank you, Shreyas. I caught it just as I saw your message come in. Yeah, so it's add origin, and then if I do status, yep. Okay, I'm going to do a git ignore. I'm going to, let's do like a quick readme. Oh, I already have. Nice, I have a readme. Cool. So I'll get rid of that. Git ignore. So I don't want any of my shell files. And I don't want the images. And I don't want... Okay, so nothing in images. I don't really want any SH files right now. Yeah, I don't think I want anything with SH. I don't want any of my WASM files. I don't want anything with A or AO. I can't remember if it'll catch everything that's like that, but just in case. I think it does, yeah. I think all I need is this. No, actually. I need both. Just go like that. For now. Zig files. Okay, I don't need zig cache. And actually, it's the entire images folder I don't want. So, what's my status now? Okay, we've got an MD. Yeah, that's fine. JSON's fine. JS is fine. This is fine. CSS is fine. I don't know what this lit build is. I'm going to remove lit build. Don't need it. Loader is fine. Maps, objects is fine. Yeah, that's fine. Stats. Okay, I think that's it. One more time. Yep. We'll call it like just initial commit. Okay, let's see. Oh, it's master, but main. Oh, it should have been main. Okay, it should have been, okay, that's fine. So all I really need to do oh, that's not what I wanted. Oh no. Oh no. Fine. You know what I'm going to do? Main's going to go bye-bye. Right. I got to make main the default branch. Or master, I mean. Okay, we'll update the default branch to master. Go back here. There it is. And then what I can do is I'm going to delete main. There we go. So it's just master. And then just because Git likes to use main, let's try your suggestion there, Shreyas. Git branch. Hey, Jordan. Too many arguments for a rename? Here. How's it going, Jordan? How are you? Really? Feel confused. Why do you feel confused? Yeah, none of these are working, but old name to the new name, and then fetch it. Huh. Got to delete the local branch. Oh, of course. Yeah. Oh my goodness, you'd think this would be much easier. Get delete local branch. Get branch dash D. Okay. Everything's fine. Now can I rename master to main? Oh. Okay, did that do it? No. No, it did not do it. I wonder what happens if I... Right. That's what I needed. Okay. Now what I should be able to do is if I switch over to master, yeah, and then what I can do is I can delete. Yeah, okay. Okay. So I did that. I kind of did that on purpose because I wanted to see if what I did was right. But yes, it's fine. So what I should do, like I want to make sure I get the commands right. Because I didn't learn, so I'm screwing it up on purpose so that I learn. So I'm going to go here. I'm going to take out the main branch, okay, from both, right? So it's completely gone. I want to get this right. I want to do this the right way. Jordan, I'm learning to make code that uses encapsulation with mediator, observer, and visitor patterns, but I'm used to accessing stuff directly and feel comfortable. I wonder if it's going to be like that when I get a job. Maybe I'm a bad programmer. What kind of code are you talking about? Like what language? What are you? Some context. Give us some context. Okay, so I think it's this one. No. Get pull. Get up to date. There we go. Okay. That's what I wanted to figure out. And then what I wanted to do right. Now we have the whoops. I don't want you. Now we should have the main branch. Right. Okay, that's good. Then what I can do is I can go back and set the default branch to main. So there's main. Then I can basically delete master. Master is not found. Okay. If I make a change, let's say to main. Okay. Which means now I can delete master. Did I rename it? Because it looks like it's working fine. Maybe the rename is acceptable though. Maybe I accidentally like idiot savanted this, because it does look like it took, like I committed it to the main branch and it went up. I mean, this is correct. I don't think I need to do a force and a pull. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's okay. I think we're all right for whatever reason. However that worked, it worked. Okay. Let me just see what Jordan's saying here. I'm programming in Java for a project at university, and multiple classes work together. It would be easy to do it in imperative C, but I can't use it. Can't just change something directly. You have to think about the whole architecture. Oh, I see. Yeah, that's tough. I think what you're describing is kind of like a complicated or more complex way to tackle problems and code, and you just happen to be in like the deep end of things where a lot of people don't usually start there. You usually start with something simpler that takes less cognitive load to like load up the entire app and deal with it. So I don't think it's you. I think you're in the deep end of things. So I wouldn't take that as a sign of like something's going on with you, for whatever that's worth, Jordan. Okay, well, I mean, Shreyas, there you go. You can, you know, if you really want to help or troll, whatever, you can now. Man, there was a distraction. What was I trying to do? I was trying to like I'm over here like trying to show health, and then Trace comes in and he's like, you know, put it on Git. Put it on Git, and now, not only do I not have. Now I have this? What did you do to me? What is going on? Okay. Oh man, I keep doing that. I'm still getting used to my Kinesis keyboard. Oh, there we go. I only trolled on Zwitter. Yeah, Shreyas for a second there. For just a second. I actually don't know what happened there because I already had the WASM file built. I mean, you were here when it was running. The WASM file was built. I had to go and rebuild it. And I don't know why. But something we did with Git made my WASM file go away. I don't know what. but it's all thanks to you. Jeez. Jeez, Trace. I'm just trying to build a game here. Making me do Git and stuff, and then Jordan comes in, and he's all like, you know, with complicated... Do you see what I have to deal with, Jordan? You're not the only one. Okay? You think just entire complicated architectures are bad? What about like trolls who come in on Twitch and they're like, hey, put it on GitHub. It should be easy, right? Thanks. Now I have to drink more wine to deal with this. You guys, yeah, Jordan, like, seriously, just, you know, based on what it sounds like, you're in something that's complicated, initially complicated, and so it's making you feel bad. Don't feel bad. You got thrown into a particular type of programming, you know, so like a particular type of programming world that is difficult to grasp, even for more experienced devs. Do not feel bad. Oh, Bad Cop is here. Don't be hating on trolls. Shreyas, this is my first stream. Listen, Shreyas. Now you have competition. Because if there's anybody else who knows how to troll, it's Bad Cop. Yeah. Trolling is Bad Cop's business. So now we have a problem. Because now I have to deal with a minimum of 2 trolls. And poor Jordan over there, who's just like learning about programming, is now walking into a programming session with 2 trolls, one of whom almost blew away my entire WebAssembly build. You know what, Bad Cop? You know what, Bad Cop? Don't you dare come in here and drop your bash proselytizing on this stream, okay? Don't you dare. But between you and me, I have to build out some bash tools. I do have to build out some bash tools for what I'm building here. So I think I'm going to be doing bash in the future. But I didn't say that officially, and you can't prove it. There's like no proof that I said that. Okay, bash? So, sorry, like Bad Cop is... I say bash because I equate bash to Bad Cop. They're one and the same to me. Honestly, that's kind of a compliment to you, Bad Cop, okay? So I'm sorry I didn't say your name exactly right, but like take it as a compliment, all right? Let's just move on. Shreyas, that was your fault. You know what? Just because I didn't name my branch correctly, what you guys think? I want to see you build a video game in Zig WebAssembly and then not get your Git branches mixed up. I dare you. Bad Cop. It's getting bad. People think I don't know other languages. I understand, Bad Cop, but I mean, you don't. All you do is write bash for other languages all day. You can say that it requires you understanding other languages, but come on, they're just wrappers. Just bash wrappers for other languages. Not exactly the same. How are you doing, Bad Cop? I had to finish my wine there. I hope you're doing well. The stream is a bit laggy. I apologize. Bad Cop is hungry. Oh no. Bad Cop. So first of all, Bad Cop joins my stream. Then she's, you know, Bad Cop sees what? Me writing like Zig WebAssembly code and screwing up my GitHub. And Bad Cop is hungry. That's like an almost perfect storm for a never-ending barrage of troll from Bad Cop. Okay, listen. I need to make sure that everything's here because now I'm concerned that I have screwed up the GitHub repo so bad that I have like messed something up. Okay, the health counter still works. Movement still work. Okay. I think we're okay. Bad cop, I meant physically. I require food. Okay. All right. That's fair. You should go eat. Go have something to eat. You're not missing anything here. All I'm doing is writing some Zig and WebAssembly. Like, who cares? Shreyas, fix the leg. Listen, in order for me to fix the leg, I would have to go into my OBS settings and like figure it out. Is the game on Steam yet? Early access. Bad cop. Early access. Okay, and this is what you get for early access. I mean, come on, who doesn't want to play this, right? Mind-blowing. You literally, and look, you know how early access this is, Bad Cop? I'm running a PHP server for this. I'm running a PHP server. So, and you know, if you're gonna there's a 10-minute delay. Yeah, Bad Cop. There's no lag for me. Yeah, see. Shreyas, it's just you. You probably live in like middle of nowhere. Probably on some weird satellite thing. I have 1 second delay. Okay, so this is early access. You got to run a PHP server to run the local server. Then you're going to run it locally. Then you got to go to a specific HTML file of several HTML files. You have to know which one it is specifically. Then you got to go to that one. You got to make sure you build your Zig WASM package first, and then you load it up, and then there's no instructions. You just have to know that it's like WASD and then spaces for attack, and you have to know that you have to be like right next to the person, not kitty corner, no, like above, below, to the, like early access. I think it's going to go over well. Jordan, why does it print int32 each time you move? Okay, so the int32 array is just a way to access the memory inside the WebAssembly file. You can access the memory, like there's a block of memory. With JavaScript, you can tell it how you want to access that block of memory. Do you want to access it as an int32 array? Do you want to access it as a U8 array, U16 array, int16 array? I think those are the only 4 options, honestly. And depending on how you access the information, like the memory in that block, you're going to get different result types back. And in some cases, you need to be specific about how to check the memory block, because how it's stored in your Zig file is also specific. So for example, let's see, in here, the attack entity, the return is U16. So if I was to look at the return in int32, I would not get a proper value. I'd get a weird value. I would want to check this block of memory, the return of this memory, as a U16 array. Now, it just so happens that the diff list used to be in int32. So when I spit out the int32, it's because that's what the diff list was. I need to change this to be a U8 because I just in this stream changed it to a U8. So I'm going to have to go into my game, and in the diff list stuff, I'm going to have to change my int32 array to a U8 array. Hopefully that makes sense, Jordan. Bad Cop, what does the PHP do? Shreyas, is the chat real time? Yes. Is the stream real time? Everything's real time, Shreyas. Bad Cop, the PHP server literally just serves. It's like a web server. So it's just like a mini web server. It's just a super quick local web server so that I can load up an HTML file. It can pull in the WASM file. This guy. My WebAssembly pulls it in, and then all my JS, CSS, all that stuff gets pulled in like a regular web page locally. So I just run. That's literally it. That's all it's for. I could have done it. Yeah, I could have done it in Python. It's very similar. And of course you have a Zish version. Yeah, a Zish version. Of course you do. That only makes sense. I would be disappointed if you didn't. I would question your whole existence if you didn't have a Zish version of an HTTP server. I might want that from you. That might be kind of cool to run instead of PHP or Python. I might ask you to ship that over to me. You guys don't do Shreyas, do you need a timeout? I will time you out. You do not use that kind of language on my stream. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Bad Cop, I don't think it's very good. No, you know what? Honestly, it doesn't have to be very good. If you look, if you're gonna market something like that and maybe even like sell it as you could run a legitimate web server off this, okay, maybe not. If you're going to say, hey, do you want to run like a local web server, like very, very simple, might be good enough. Shreyas, I'm leaving. Bye. Shreyas, thank you for coming. I appreciate it. Thank you for being here. I will see you online, maybe on my next stream, whatever it is. Thanks for having some fun here. Keeping the seats warm, because I'm noticing other people are showing up, so yeah. Fran, evening. Hey Fran, how's it going? I hope you're doing well. Good to have you here. Shreyas, you have a good night if I don't talk to you. Bad Cop, it's missing some nice features like content type headers. I mean, nice, but need to have for like what I'm using this thing for. I mean, I suppose that you'd want to have some content type headers to some degree. But yeah. Fran, just here to vibe. Love your mic, by the way. Thank you. I appreciate it. Not leaving, that was a joke. Shreyas. Shrey, you're asking for a timeout. You're asking for it. You're basically begging at this point. Bad Cop is here trying to figure out whether a Zush version of a web server is adequate. Whatever Bad Cop has already. Like, we're struggling with life here, and you're just like, oh, jokes, I'm leaving, I'm not leaving. You're just asking for a timeout. I'm just warning you. Fran, all good, man. I'll be on for a little while longer. Just trying to get a few things accomplished, which I already have. So, yeah. Okay, well, health is working. Attacking health is working. The other thing that I kind of sort of want to do, but I don't think I need to. Can I control the entity? Can I? Whoops. I hope that wasn't too loud. I just banged the mic. I apologize. Blowing everybody's ears out. That's what you get, Trey. Can I switch the entity? If I take my input and I put like a keyboard binding to, like, instead of the player, bind to this NPC, which is just a red square, could I do that? It's too much trouble, and I already know I can move it. So I don't need to prove anything. I think what I really ultimately want to do is do a quick update on my diff list, because now it's a I've already forgotten what it is. I don't know how Prime does this. I don't know how he like talks to everyone on stream and like keeps everything moving. It takes a particular kind of brain that I apparently do not have. I have completely forgotten if this is right. I don't think this is right. It's got to be like, there we go, uint 8. That's what I was looking for. There we go, uint 8. And that's what I was looking for. I wanted the value of 1. And then the value of 0. Yep, the value of 0, because 0 would be the player entity. So that's right. Okay. Jordan, how familiar are you of Jonathan Blow's ideas on programming? Yeah, I've watched some of his stuff, and I don't think I've seen everything. He like I've just done the highlights, the stuff that's like most popular. So I know some of it, Jordan. Some of what he says, and I watch his streams sometimes too. He does some interesting things. Super hard to program and narrate. Yeah, it's hard. Bad cop. It just takes practice. You know what? I'll agree with you. I think you're right, bad cop. I think it probably does just take practice. I think it's probably something you can learn, but currently it's pretty hard. I'm really leaving this time. Bye, people, and look out for any PRs or whatever. Good night, good morning, whatever. Thanks, Shreyas. Look, I appreciate you being here. A lot. Thank you. Have a good night. Ryan, I tried doing that with my brother while pair programming AoE, and my programming ability took a nosedive. Yeah. Bad cop, you have to split your coding into very tiny objectives and be able to save context mentally. Right, for AOC. Yeah, Fran, sometimes pair coding throws me off too. Sometimes I can't do pair coding. I need to like just not be distracted by anyone or anything and focus. Sometimes you can't, but that's kind of how I work too. I could see that being quite distracting. And yes, bad cop. That has helped me so far. Breaking down what I'm doing into little bits, and even then I still forget, unfortunately. So I have to practice more. I love pairing. Yeah. I think for me, just for me personally, pairing is great when it's in the right context. Pairing can happen in the wrong context and not be very useful. It's just me. It's just a personal opinion. I have no objective metrics for that. I learned it's a skill I need to build up. Yep. I've got some skills I need to build up too. Jordan, what do you think will improve in the future in software from low to high level? I need to think about that, Jordan. Let me think about that. Bad cop. Yeah, mostly pair if I want to teach something, or if it's a particularly hard problem. Those are good contexts. Yeah. I would agree. Those are good contexts. Honestly, I've never had to think about specific contexts where pair programming was particularly good or bad. So like reading you state those contexts, suddenly it's like, oh, of course, why didn't I think of that? Of course that makes sense. But if you were to, ask me when pair programming is bad contextually, like what would be a bad context for pair programming, I have to think about it. See, I have to pause. I know that they exist because I know that I've done pair programming sometimes and it's been bad. But I can't think of them off the top of my head. Fran, I found vocalizing obstacles I've encountered while programming to be something I've ignored for too long. Yes, it can help to say things out loud. Bad cop. Sometimes I would get fed up with my current task. Walk around the office, see if anyone was struggling and needed help. It's like the equivalent of you don't solve a problem until you like hit the shower or, you know, like go have a nice poop. You know? Then you solve it. It's kind of like that. Right? You have to like escape it, or you like go to bed and it's like 2 a.m. and then you know the answer. It's the same thing. Same thing. Jordan, I had to think about what I think will improve in the future with software, and I'm gonna give kind of like a not very optimistic take. If the industry generally stays the same that it is now, I don't see any meaningful enhancements. There might be some enhancements, but I don't see anything that's meaningful. Unless something crazy happens with AI or like quantum computing maybe, or some big hardware breakthrough, but it would have to be pretty large. I just currently don't see a trend where there are developers, programmers, companies. Like imagine the people on chat right now. I know most of you. And you guys are like awesome. Like great programmers, great developers. Bad cop. I don't want to say too much publicly, but bad cop, you know why I say that about you, because you and I have talked behind the scenes. And I promise you're still with me. Okay, bad cop, I know. It's things were out of my control happened. But like I know that you guys are good, right? But I don't see a lot of that. I think it's actually quite rare to come across people, even online, who have the kind of like the work ethic, the desire, the passion, and to some degree the ability to tackle complicated problems like we like to do, including you, Jordan. And you're just starting out, but I can already tell that you like doing it. I don't see enough people like that, and it doesn't give me much hope for big improvements in the software space. I think we have a big gap in terms of people who generate code and who deal with available hardware, writing things in a lazy way, being okay with really poor practices, really poor development environments, shipping stuff out that just is insane to me. There's just too much of that. And then on top of that, you have companies that are motivated by, of course, making money, which to some degree they should be. They how do you pay the bills otherwise? But there's got to be a bit of a trade-off there, and they're not making the right trade-offs. Not to the point that we need them to be. So I'm just not optimistic. There's a bunch of chats going on. Hang on. Let me catch up here. Get it? Yeah. I was bad at career progression stuff because I'd rather help someone with their task than complete my own. I hear you, bad cop. I hear you. And you know what? That's sometimes that's like a characteristic or a personality trait where it's easier for you to jump into an existing world and make that better than it is to generate a new world on your own. Some people are just like that. And I think there's nothing wrong with that. If there's an understanding that there are some people who are just better that way, it's totally cool. And maybe it was the environment you were in too, who knows, but just saying, it's not necessarily a bad thing, but it does suck, because then when you need to show your own stuff, you don't really have much, right? Anyways, people can't come up with good examples without starting by talking about how they see the topic in general, and then asking some simple questions out loud, coming up with perhaps an answer at the end. Yeah, Jordan, yeah. Bad cop, LLM just ain't it. I agree. LLM just ain't it. Jordan, I don't remember people giving good examples right away if they don't always repeat the same thing, but I'm not in their head. I can't say it's 100% true. I see where you're going with that, Jordan. Oh, don't worry, I'm not struggling to find work. Good. I'm glad, bad cop. People should be banging down your door. So I hope that's the case. Jordan, I have a very different idea of what software should be like and how it's done currently, so it feels like I'm in a toxic environment. I have to justify my own way of thinking while understanding theirs and convincing them as well. Yeah, so this is difficult. It's going to be difficult for you to make a change in an existing environment. And what you might have to come to terms with is that you can't. So it might be the case that you need to use the existing environment at work or at school as a means to an end. So if it's work, it would be using the existing environment and working within it so that you can, pay your bills. Then you get to come home, your bills are paid, you have clothes, food, rent, whatever. And then you get to work on something where you feel like you can make an impact. You can, make a change. And then you can try and do something with whatever it is you're working on by yourself at home, or maybe with some fellow people who are working with you on this other thing that's external to your work. The problem with work is that there are already established processes. There's like managers, you have to like run things up the flagpole, and change is usually not receptive. People go to work, they like to have their patterns, they like to be able to check in, check out, know essentially what's going to happen to their work and to them throughout the day, and you upset the apple cart in some way and it's generally not going to go over well. If you're in a super good work environment, you can make a lot of good change. If you want to work somewhere like that, probably a startup is a good place to work. That comes with its own set of risks, including say less pay. It could not work out. In 3 months you might not have a job. Been there, done that. But you probably will have more of an impact if that's what you want to do. So it's tough. You might just have to accept that work is work, school is school. You just have to get through it the way it is, and you'll have to make a change somewhere else, right? And the other thing too to consider is, if you do want to make a change and your current environment doesn't allow for it, that might be a good opportunity for you to dig deeper into why it's so difficult to make a change. Why are the people around you currently seemingly entrenched in their perspective and are not receptive to yours? Why does it feel toxic? What is it that's making them hold on to their ideas so firmly? It's good for you to know that better and take advantage of the fact that you are working around people like that, so that you can understand better what it is they're thinking or how they're operating, so that when it does come time for you to make a change, you're better equipped to understand the opposing side and make a better argument for your case. Right? I've only worked in a few places, but yeah, from what I've understood, work put consistency above all. It usually is what it is. Yeah, it's usually things have to be consistent, deterministic. You should be able to have inputs and outputs and expect pretty much the same thing all the way through. Be bad cop. Usually it's because nobody cares. Usually it is because nobody cares. But I would say, even then, why does nobody care? That can tell you a lot. Why does nobody care? Right? That can tell you something, that can equip you so that in the future, when it comes time for you to finally get your word in or make that change that you want to make or have that impact that you want to have, you are still better equipped to understand how to package that to somebody who doesn't care, because you've thought of you've gone through the motions of trying to understand why somebody wouldn't care. If that makes sense. I worded that really poorly. I hope it makes some kind of sense. even in a bad situation, you can still use it to your advantage. That's kind of what I'm trying to say. Anyways. Okay. I'll keep an eye on chat, but I'm just going to figure out a couple of things here. I've got my diff list is working. I'm returning the right messages. I think my diff list is referencing the right entities, which it is. Okay, so I think at this point, I just have to pretty much have to decide what I would like to tackle next. And there are a few choices I can make on what to tackle next. And it's going to be a little bit frustrating because I often tend to get myself stuck in analysis paralysis mode. Why? Oh, yeah, okay, here we go. So, okay, one of the things I can tackle next is images. Per byte images with RGBA values. And having those images rendered into my DOM. Because right now I'm using a background image for the main player here. That's one thing I could do. The other thing I could do is I could work on making sure that I am properly checking my diff list when I render every frame, so that I'm only rendering the things I have to. The thing with that is it feels like I'm going to put in a lot of effort for not a lot of gain right now because I don't have a lot going on. So that feels like a problem I should tackle later on when I have more stuff going on. So I have more I suppose what would you call it, like more artifacts to test with to make sure that it's working correctly. Right now it might be just a little bit annoying to make sure it's working correctly. I would probably build out a bunch of stuff, then like as this got more complex, realize that it's not like fully complete, and then it's the other thing I can do is work on some of the menu systems, because I have a really basic menu system in the DOM, but I don't have anything menu based in my actual game code. And another thing I can work on is strings. So instead of storing text strings, like messages that are part of the game, for example, instead of storing those inside the game, the compiled game, I would store references to localized string files. And it would be like integers, which reference a particular index value. So say I have an array of messages in a JSON file, and then I would just store strings as integer values of that array. So that's another thing I could work on. Then I could spit out those messages in the menu, and this white thing is the menu. I have resize working. I have like centering and everything working. That's fine. The menu is ready to like accept text, I believe. Yep. So I could put text in there. That's one thing I could work. So how would that work? If I wanted to put some text, I guess what I would have to do is have a function in the JavaScript code somewhere that did something like set menu text, you know, just something stupid and simple like that. Top menu. Yeah. So I should put it in like a general. No, you know what? Here's the thing. I don't want to put it in here because this is all a wrapper for the game stuff. Yep, Jordan, I do exercise. Nothing serious, but mostly just making sure my cardio is up at least once or twice a day. So it's not really for muscle building. It's more just to like make sure you're stretching and, you know, getting the breathing up and all that good stuff. So I guess it would be like function set menu text. Yeah, and then let's just go like top menu. Did I do this right? I did. There we go. Okay. So I now have a way to at least write some like really simple stuff into the menu at the top. Do I still have my script running? I do. Yeah. Okay, so my script now, what I could do is you know what, I want to get rid of the stats thing, or sorry, no, not get rid of it. I just want to move it to the very top. It's just in the way now. I liked its position to begin with, but not no more. How on earth? No. How on earth am I setting it to be? Oh, because it's receiving its position from its parent. Isn't it? Isn't it? Yeah, okay. Kind of. Just do this. Now. There. Okay. Let me see. Fran, what part of the game is the Zig WASM module handling currently? Okay, so Fran, right now, the Zig portion, which I compiled to WebAssembly using, here, I'll zoom in, using this Zig command up here. Yeah, it compiles to a WASM module. It's literally the back end, if you want to call it that, of the game. So the world, let me see if I can pull up some data for you. Where is it? Test 2. So like the world data, the current world, so I could swap worlds, you know, like maps. You can consider them maps, worlds, whatever. I might change the name, but and they're different layers, and the entities themselves, really basic information about the entity. Like you can see, it's just this: health, position X, position Y. Depending on, and this just gets updated depending on the world that's loaded. There's like an initial position for all the entities based on the world, but you know, really basic stuff like that. So imagine that anything that has to do with like where the entities live in the world, what the world size is, moving entities around, attacking them, managing their health, the state of the game. Anything that can be rendered in terms of like numbers, it's all in here. Then on the front end, over here, I call the game WebAssembly memory like the memory block from it, and then I just use that, let's call it the back end, and I render how I want. So technically speaking, what I should be able to do, and this is like the goal that I have, I should be able to swap out this DOM-based, HTML-based rendering for, like, I could do it in terminal. Like a bad cop would be proud. I could write a terminal-based version render of this game, and it would just render out, in strings, like an old school MUD game, the MUD games, where it was all text. I could swap this out for WebGL. I could swap it out for a desktop, like OpenGL renderer, that kind of stuff, right? So I want to be able to swap out the rendering, but the core gameplay stays the same. It's all the same. All the game stuff you need is there. You just need to choose how you render, right? But as long as you tell the WebAssembly module to move an entity up, it will move an entity up. It will make sure that the entity does not move outside the world bounds. It will make sure that the entity does not lose more health in it than 0. Things like that. That's all inside the WebAssembly module. Then you can render that however you like, right? Yeah, I was surprised by how much rendering code there was. Yeah, then it's all in JavaScript, because I'm just gonna swap out at some point. I'll just prove that this works well enough. I can swap out the rendering mechanism. I know Jordan said something. When learned programming, did you play games significantly less often? When learning programming, did you play games significantly less often? Yes. That happens now. Now that I, quote unquote, know programming. Even now, I don't often get a chance to play video games as much as I would like to. I kind of wish I was doing that right now, but streaming is also kind of work, because for a number of reasons. But yeah. Okay, so I have a way to put text in my menu item, which means I can make my menu item however I want. Now, this does lead to an interesting question. And the question is, I've just talked about how I want the state of my game to remain in my WebAssembly module. What about when I have menus open? Is that not technically a game state? And the menu, like the rendering of the menu, falls under the same principle as the rendering of the game. I want to choose how I render my menu, but I want to know what I should render. Like, what's the data that should go into the menu? So that is actually an interesting thing that I need to consider now. Jordan, what do you tell yourself to keep programming instead of gaming? Discipline. It's discipline. What are the trade-offs? If you really need to build some discipline, when I was younger, all I did was I would do a thought experiment. I would create a clone of myself, and I would fast forward that clone to anywhere between 2 to 10 years in the future. Then I would have an honest conversation with that clone, because, like, if you lie to yourself, you're just lying to yourself. But typically, you can't really lie to yourself, right? You can't really trick yourself. And you just, think about, like, if I'm going to do this today, how are you going to feel looking back in the future? And usually, you know the answer. You do that enough times, and, it helps you to understand what you should prioritize. And then if you fail to do it, then you have a conversation with yourself again, and you have your future self constructively judge you judgment is kind of a bad word. It comes loaded with like a negative implication. But if you do it in a constructive way where the judgment is, look, you didn't make it this time. Like, you didn't do what I was hoping you would do. I'm disappointed, but there's still time left. And next time I think you can do it. You know, that's what I mean by constructive judgment. That helped me a lot. I had to do that for a few years. And then after a while, it becomes pretty much instant. You can usually, as you get older and you do it more and you implement more discipline in your life and within yourself, it gets easier to just tell like when you should be doing something, because it sucks now, but it's going to pay off in the future. And then in order to stay sane, you buy out some times that are specific to, I'm going to have like a judgment-free time to just chill out and play my games because I need to stay sane, that kind of a thing. Fran, I'm not sure how WASM and JS communicate strings with each other, but you could compile all your menu strings and options of the back end and just let the renderer read them from a buffer. Okay, so I've thought about that. So first of all, passing strings around in WebAssembly and JavaScript, you essentially are going to pass a block of some kind of like integer-based memory, and you're going to have to convert that. At that point, why not just reference, particularly in a video game, why not just reference an array of strings? Then what you could also do is you could have multiple arrays of strings which are the same strings but translated, so localized sets of strings. And then the other thing you can do is not worry about how you store special string characters in your WebAssembly or Zig. I don't want to have to deal with that. And then find a way to convert that in a memory block for JavaScript to just straight read. It's a kind of like a weird, awkward thing to pass strings around. So to me, it just seems better to stick to just passing integers around. It keeps the Zig WASM side really simple. And then you can manage your strings on the front end however you like. And if you want to use, if you want to make an adjustment to the way something, let's say that you have, I've thought about this a little bit deeper. Like, what if you wanted to go one level deeper than that, right? So that's kind of like a soft argument for it, but a harder, like a stronger argument would be, when in reality would you really need to have your front end manage your sets of strings? Well, generally speaking, your strings are going to be the same no matter what front end you're using, like generally speaking. But what if I have a renderer that's like on like here, with this DOM-based system, but then I decide to go to a desktop app and I want to have like a traditional menu, like how desktop apps traditionally have like the file, edit, whatever. And I want to put some menu items from the game into that desktop app. And then what I might need to do is, because of some of the constraints of the menu item, I might want to change the string specific to the renderer that I have, so that maybe I shorten it or I add a term to make it more specific. So the game references the same string on the back end. Like it's essentially going to do the same thing and pretty much say the same thing, but I need to make a minor adjustment because of my renderer for some reason or another. Do I want to go rebuild my whole game for that so I can get that alternate string out? Probably not, right? So it just adds a little bit more flexibility. Jordan, I might try no internet and no games for a month. If you find that that's a problem, yeah, cut it out. If you think it's a problem and you need to focus, cut it out. And then block out some time after you've, let's say you set a goal for a month, you can try it for just a day, right? Start small. Don't go for a month right up front, because that can be hard. It's a big thing to do, like a 180. try a day, then try a few days, then try a week, then try a few weeks, then try a month, right? And then if every time you succeed, reward yourself and say, okay, I did a day of no games, no internet. I'm going to like give myself a day where maybe I do just that. Like, and, you know, I'm just saying, just as an example, because what you don't want to do is lean too hard in the other direction and then hate everything about life. So, okay. So I think I need to deal with my menu system. I think that's what I need to tackle next, because I'd like to keep like the state of, like, if I open up a menu to, like, say the stats, right? Like I click on my main player and then it opens up like a full screen menu and you can see all the stats of your player. The fact that the menu is open, I want to keep in my WebAssembly module. The rendering of that menu, I want to keep in the renderer. So it feels like there's like a game state kind of a thing where I need to say that the state of the game is main player menu open, you know, something like that. I could try to deal with how I render particular menus in the game the same way that I do this grid-based thing, where like I have let's say like an NPC player chat menu where like there's like a script going on or some kind of event. Then I have like the main world menu down here, you know, on the right hand side. And then I have some other kind of menu, maybe like a secondary menu on the left-hand side. But now that I've thought about it, I don't really want to store the location of the menu and the rendering of it in any way, shape, or form in my WebAssembly module. I think all I really want to do is store the state of the menus. And then the game state would be, is there a full screen menu open? Like, kind of like that, something along those lines. Then I can choose whether I want my main menu to be down here, on the right hand side, on the bottom, on the left, up at the top, in the center, whatever. The renderer can choose how to render the main menu, but the state of that menu stays within the game. And if I was to think about it without a render, without like a visual render, if it was just text-based, if this was a text-based game, then my main, I could type in like, I could swap out the menu for like like commands or like special text entries where you'd get the state of particular things going on in the world via like a command like I don't know, like menu. I don't know. You could even do menu main, I guess, and then it would just show you the state. You know, and you'd have some stats like it would return to you something like world coordinates, you know, x y, you know, and then it'd be like gold 1,000, you know, something like that, right? So I think that's what I want to do. I think I want to have, I know which menus I want to have in my game. And now that I'm thinking about it even more, do I even really care about menus, or do I just care about certain game states? Damn. So if a full screen menu of my stats is open, then I'm just pausing the game. So my game state would be paused. If I'm showing a main menu, let's say on the right hand side, my game state would just be active. I don't think I care about menus. Friend, sorry if this question sounds half-formed. Do you think the state shown by the menu should be calculated on a menu opening? Or is it essentially now always being updated in real time in the back end? I think the conclusion I'm getting to, if your game is paused, you don't need to always real-time update. Exactly. I think the state that I'm getting to, I think what I'm concluding is that I don't really need to worry about menus in my WebAssembly module. I don't think I care. I care about whether I'm animating the game or not animating the game. I care about whether certain actions are currently available in the game or not. In the renderer, what I would do is if I've opened up a full screen menu, then I would put the game state into pause. The renderer would decide whether it continues to update the main menu in real time or not. If the game state is paused, why update the main menu? The renderer will just not update the main menu. It will, however, continue to reach into the memory block to get whatever data it needs to render the current full screen menu of player stats. So that way, what you can do is you can adjust for different renderers. You can adjust how you render your menus, period, even the full screen menu. So what if you have like a 3-layered full screen player stats menu? Your initial stats, then you click on HP, and then it breaks it down, like you go into a secondary full screen menu that breaks down all the reasons why your HP is at 100. Maybe because you're wearing particular armor, you have particular gear, you have a buff on, etc., right? What if in a different renderer though, say a desktop one, you wanted to show all that information up front? So I think I'm coming to the conclusion that the WebAssembly module does not care about menus. All it cares about is ensuring that you have access to the data that you need to render any given menu that the renderer wants. Then you let the renderer decide what to render and when. And so then the WebAssembly module just maintains a game state. And the state is just, am I animating? Are certain things happening? No, whatever. I think that's the way to do it. So I'm actually now of the opinion that instead of managing my game menus, like having to worry about that in Zig, I can just do it here in the JavaScript code. I would have to, I suppose it means that I would have to create like some kind of menu structure. I would probably just have to figure out the different kinds of menus I could render, their positions, their sizes, what are they going to contain, and then a JavaScript class with some CSS to render them. And then the JavaScript class would also like manage their states at the render level, like the menu states at the render level. And then those menus would tie into, they would call back into game functions like pause game or whatever when it's appropriate to do that. And then you would update when you know that a menu is active, you would just ask the game to give you a subset of data. And so then your request animation frame functionality, which is, I think it's somewhere here. It's one of it here. So all this would just be instead of animate entities and like re-rendering the grid and all that, it would be animate the menu system and put the game state like otherwise into pause. So it would be kind of like I guess we're dealing with like a one level higher animation state at the JavaScript level in order to maintain your menus and constantly update them, because you're going to have user feedback in those menus, right? So you're going to have an animation frame cycle for your menus, but that animation frame cycle no longer deals with like the game itself. It deals with what should happen in that menu. I think that's the right way to do it. And then if you decide you want to do like WebGL or whatever, you'd have your 3D WebGL code manage the ticks, the animation frames, and the menu items that way. And then your game state is just paused. I don't think this is a problem I have to worry about now, but I do wonder if I'm going to run into trouble doing something in a menu that impacts the state of the game when I go back to it, like when you close the menu and you go to render again, if there's a tie-in there that I need to be concerned about. But I think what I'm going to do is just pretend that that's not a problem right now and see how far I can push this, because this would be like pretty awesome. What's nice about this is if there's people who want to mod or who want to like render this in a different way, are going to be able to do a large amount of variety with this game if they want to, which is kind of like a cool thing for a community. I guess you could call it a project. It's a cool way to allow the community to kind of like make things their own, and learn from it. So if I'm going to do that, I think what I can do before I close off the stream is kind of look at like pseudo code some menu structure stuff. Maybe here. Why is this? This is weird. It's not picking up on. That's very weird, but that's okay. All right, so it'd be like JS like menu. I don't know. Let's call it a class. So we'd need to have a few things in here. Definitely one of the things we want to do is like hide show menus, right? Menu or menus. We absolutely need to do that. We want to render menus. And I think we probably want to do this. We want to choose certain menus to render. We want to be setting the position of menus in the JavaScript class, or do we leave that up to CSS? We probably should leave that up to CSS. We'll let CSS deal with positioning and styling. We won't do it in the JS menu class. So in the JS menu class, we'll just keep it to like functional items. We want to deal with menu inputs, like events, like keyboard, mouse, etc. Right? We definitely want to handle that. We want to some kind of like update game state of some sort. This is a bit ambiguous. I don't think it's clear enough, but it's a start. Fran, would you want to make it confirm based, or should every option change state? Or would you want to make it confirm based, or should every option change state? I don't think we have. Okay, it depends on what you mean by state. If it's game state, that depends. I'm not going to worry about game state for now. I'm not going to worry about what happens if you make a change in a menu item, like somewhere in a menu, and you have to change the game state and re-render something. I'm only going to worry about whether the game is paused in order to show the menu or not. And I can pretty much deal with that in JavaScript. If in some cases you're going to want to have confirmation of something you do, like, are you sure you want to unequip all the armor? For example, that would probably be something you do in a menu, and then you would have to update the game to reflect that. So you'd have to tell the game, the user, like the player has removed all their armor. Then when you go back to the game, you would be rendering the player without their armor. Like, it's just an example. But I think that's fine. I don't think we need to worry about that, because that is literally just pause the game, do your menu action within the menu, within the world, like within the menu world, like this JS menu class. You would be dealing with your inputs. So we can even add like let's just go confirmations, right? You deal with all that. Confirm you actually want to do this. Then your menu class would be associated with particular actions that the user is taking, the player, to calling game functions within the WebAssembly module. So if you do unequip all your players' armor, you could, just as an example, right? You could literally just have a function in your zig file here. It would be like remove all players' armor, right? And the menu would just call this, or whatever is appropriate. And then you'd unpause the game. And then you would render the game like you would anyways, like normal. And especially if we have the diff list, where if you take an action like removing all the armor, then the player gets put into the difference list, and then when you continue your animation frame for the general world, we're checking the difference list somewhere here, and we're going to go see that there's a difference, and we need to re-render the player based on that difference. So I think this kind of structure gets us most of the way there, because then you could imagine that your menus could live differently in like in a desktop app like this, right? Where you have the menu items here, and maybe that's how you want to render your menu for the game on desktop mode. Maybe you want to render it like this. And so you would tie these individual actions to, pause the game, confirm, update the update whatever in the WebAssembly module, and then re-render. Right? So you can control how you want to handle that. So if that's how we want to tackle it, which I feel like is like a good way to tackle this, what else would we need really? Hide show, render menus for specific rendering things, I suppose. It's kind of across like an overlap with hide show. I want to handle inputs for sure. We want to be able to reach into the game state, but that just kind of comes packaged in with our WebAssembly build. We want to have confirmations, yeah. That's fine. We have alerts for that, or confirmation dialog. I mean, we can keep it stupid simple with HTML. Rendering text is fine. I don't think we have a problem with like setting text into menu. Shouldn't be a problem. I don't think we need to worry about animations or anything. We can deal with that another time. It's getting advanced. Like, that's pretty much it. If we have this, we have like the basics of a menu system in DOM, HTML DOM here. And that's probably all we need to get started with. The other thing that I need to consider is an editor. This one's going to be tricky, because what I'd like to be able to do is I like to be able to create worlds or maps. I'd like to be able to edit images, specifically the RGBA bytes. Some kind of I kind of have this sorted out already, but oops. Here we go. Some kind of conversion from Zig to whatever. Data. I'd like to be able to edit data, and then I guess that data would, I mean, all this stuff would have to go back out to Zig, wouldn't it? As arrays, probably. And I kind of already have a plan for that. I even have a converter already. Worlds, images, data, like entities, you know, scripts, like world items. Oh, like strings? No. Yeah, okay, strings, yeah. Strings. I probably want to be able to, in the editor, associate like particular strings to certain things. Somehow, some way. It's a bit of an ambiguous one, but yeah. If possible, it would be cool if we had like a timeline, like a seek, fast, forward, rewind kind of a thing. What else? Create worlds, aka maps, yeah. I mean, this kind of has a few things going on. It's going to have layers, collisions, like starting locations, trigger, I guess, trigger coordinates or like trigger locations. You step over it, it triggers something. You interact with it, it triggers something. Yeah. There's a lot. There's a lot. But we are off to a decent start. I like it. I wonder if the editor needs to worry about menus. No, I think the editor of menu. Is it possible to package any of the editor stuff as a WASM module itself? Feels super front end heavy though. Yeah, I think it is front end heavy. I think. So what I'm gonna have is see if I can find it. Here we go. I have a JSON to Zig converter, right? So for this particular render, which is just browser DOM JavaScript, I'm gonna deal with turning this mode into an editor mode in JavaScript land. And any adjustments I make, I'm going to pull the data from the WebAssembly module. I'm going to wrap it as a JSON structure, exactly like how I have, say, like this guy, right? So I call getEntity from the memory in the WASM module. I wrap it in a JSON structure because I know exactly how everything should be. You know, these are just integer values with array indexes. Like I know it all, so I just wrap it in a JSON structure. I manipulate it in my editor mode. Then I take that JSON data here, and I convert it to Zig. So you can see I create an I32 array that would just spit it out as a you know, as a like something I would export into Zig. So imagine that this runs, but then it also, like, you click a button and you download a Zig file. And so that zig file contains the new values exported from JSON to a zig file. Then in your zig file, you import. So if you're going to change your player data, you're just going to change, in JSON on your editor, you're going to export it to a zig file, and it's going to replace this. And your data is going to be replaced here, right? Then you recompile, and now you've got your edited values. So as long as you can extract the data, and as long as for testing purposes, you can update data as the game is as you're editing the game, then you should be able to make manipulations as you please in any renderer you like. So if you do have a desktop renderer, you choose the editor mode. Like, you choose how to render the editor mode. Everything is at your disposal. You just have to build the editor mode, the visual editor mode, right? And then figure out how you get the data in and out. Out from Zig is easy. Back into Zig shouldn't be too hard. I wonder if there's a JSON to Zon Zig object notation converter already, although I haven't used those files outside of Zig's package manager. That's a good question. And I don't know. And I don't think so. Let's say just JSON to Zig. Decode JSON into tagged union. Let's try Zon. I think Zon files were just added in 0.11, which is the version I'm using. So there might not be a lot out right now. Yeah. Let's see what this is. Whoa, sorry for the light mode blindness. Right, like this, yeah. Zon files. Yeah, this looks pretty new. Look, even the documentation isn't complete. I probably wouldn't use this for now. If they complete it and they do a bit more with this, that's cool. But for the time being, I think I would rather stay in control of my outputs, because I know that my game will basically only deal in like basic arrays and integer values. So when I use this, I don't need to worry about a particular structure. I just have to convert it properly, and then I can expect the same for anybody else who might want to write a render in a different render world, right? It's going to have to be up to them, and they can see what I did with JSON to copy it, or it might be me building it. So who knows? Oh wow, yeah, that was from last week. Yeah, so I don't know. It feels a little bit too new for me to deal with that right now. I think what I have here is probably adequate for now. I can sort it out. I can make do, and I can create the structures I want. Yeah. Okay, well, I think that's gonna be it for me. I'm gonna have to call it a night. I'm gonna go spend some time with my daughter, make sure she's okay, and you know, all that stuff, dinner, everything. But I got a lot done today. Got quite a bit done today, so I'm quite happy with that. And I appreciate everybody that showed up. That's really nice. It's nice to see some familiar faces, and some of the newer ones like Fran. And hopefully I'll be doing another stream soon. If I have my way, it'll be tomorrow, but we'll see. I might have to be a dad first, and if I have to be a dad first, I have to be a dad first. But again, I appreciate everyone. Fran, Jordan, good luck tonight. And we'll catch everyone again. Have a great night, everybody.